Welcome to Echoes of the Lost audiobook, where forgotten stories come to life. Dive into worlds of mystery, survival, and the unknown. If you enjoy our stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with our latest audiobooks. Chap 66, Sap of Life in the Deep. Ryder knelt in the cold stone cave beneath the gas forge, his right hand setting the new spear on the jagged stone floor, his eyes sweeping the colossal monster's corpse from Chap 65, stone and metal fused, now still, black blood dried on rock, claws broken, red eyes extinguished. The small fire of dry twigs still flickered weakly, the faint green glow of glowing mushrooms on the walls blending with it, lighting the cave. Thin white smoke faded, leaving scents of deep earth, mold, and a sour hint from roasted beetles, now joined by a new smell, sweet, warm, like fresh sap, emanating from thin, dark brown vines clinging to the stone deeper in, meters from the corpse. These vines were unlike prior moss or mushrooms, soft, glossy, radiating warmth when touched, a rare pulse of life in dead land. Stone shards fell lightly from the ceiling, distant rolling echoes mixed with a faint metallic screech, like the cave expanding or a new threat nearing. Lena sat beside him, her left hand picking a leftover twig, her weary but sharp eyes watching, her right hand resting her old crude spear, breathing slowly in the damp air. Torin sat by the wall, supporting Mira, the young girl inhaling deeply, her pale face showing curiosity at the warm vines, her hand holding a glowing mushroom to light more. Kalia knelt near the corpse, her heavy mace set down, her gaze fixed on a strange insect, small, pale orange, crawling from a stone crack near the vines, leaking a shimmering droplet when touched. The cave under Archive was a new ecosystem, glowing mushrooms, heat-giving vines, and secreting insects offering rich survival options, if they explored right. He pulled the Seraphim device from his bag, its red light blinking steadily, the small screen showing a curt message, Archive, Ryder, Sap of Life is data. Harness life in stone, or die in the cold, the trial demands creativity. The words echoed in his mind, cold and clear, suggesting this cave, with warm vines and odd insects, was a new test, forcing them to use biology to survive. He opened his notebook, its pages damp, his fingers brushing the rough surface as he wrote slowly, Day 51 North, below Gas Forge. Archive Phase 4, Deep Cave, Warm Vines, Insect Fluid. He paused, his dark brown eyes narrowing in the green glow, listening to the rolling stone and faint screech, weak but persistent, like something approaching. Sap of life is data, he muttered, his low, hoarse voice blending with the falling stone. They want us to live from these creatures. He inhaled the damp air deeply, analyzing. Vines radiated heat for warmth, insect fluid might burn, mushrooms lit the way, a small ecosystem in dead land. Lena turned to him, her left hand touching a vine on the wall, soft, warm, a sweet scent sticking to her fingers. You smell that? She asked, her voice rough, standing slowly, her spear aimed into the cave's depths. These vines, warm, usable? And that insect too. She took a damp breath, frowning as the sweetness drifted by, her gaze sweeping the vines and orange insect, seeking more biological signs to exploit. Ryder nodded, crouching by the vines, his right hand setting the spear down, his left picking a short segment, warm, pliable, leaking a little sap when snapped, the sweet scent stronger, non-toxic. Vines, give heat, can warm us, he said, his voice low but certain, grabbing an orange insect from a crack, small, soft, leaking a shimmering fluid when squeezed lightly, a faint sour scent like flammable oil. This fluid might burn. He took a twig from the floor, dipped it in the fluid, struck two metal bits, sparks flew, the fluid ignited, burning brighter than twigs, lasting longer. Sap of life, warmth and fire. He scribbled fast in his notebook. Warm vines, insect fuel, fire plus heat new. He turned to the group, his voice clear. Deep cave gives us vines for warmth, insect fluid for fire, mushrooms to guide. Rest, but hear the screech. Torin sat Mira down, his cloudy eyes flickering with surprise as he felt warmth from a nearby vine. These vines, really warm? He asked, his voice slow, his arm tight around Mira, as if wanting her to test more. Mira took a deep breath, the damp air sharpening her eyes brightening as she touched a vine, faintly warm, sweet sap on her fingers. Vines, like living fire, she whispered, her voice faint but keen, picking an orange insect, squeezing gently, fluid dripped, she dipped a twig in, struck metal, fire flared, bright and warm. This fluid burns better than twigs. Kalia stood, her heavy mace aside, her gaze sweeping the walls. Vines grew sparsely, more orange insects crawling slowly near cracks. Insects, more than crickets, she said, her voice soft but sharp, crouching to catch one, holding it, fluid dripped, a faint sour whiff. Warm vines, hold heat well. She frowned, turning to Ryder, her eyes curious but trusting, gathering more vines and insects, ready to test. Ryder nodded, taking Kalia's vines, wrapping them around a flat metal scrap to retain heat, then squeezing insect fluid onto a twig, igniting it. Fire surged, bright, spreading strong warmth in the cold cave. New fire, lasts longer, he said, his voice low, analyzing fast. Vines warmed passively, fluid burned stronger than twigs, enough to rest and cook mushrooms. Cook mushrooms, burn insects, live from this. He wrote slowly in his notebook, vine heat, fuel fire plus mushrooms cooked, survival deep cave. He turned to the group, his voice taut, sap of life is strength, use vines to warm, burn fluid, be ready to move. Screech is close. The Seraphim device buzzed hard, its red light flashing faster, and the cold, deep voice crackled through. Ryder, sap of life is new data. Create from life, or die in cold stone, the trial doesn't stop. The voice cut off, but the metallic screech from deep in the cave sharpened, joined by louder rolling stone, like something breaking through. Ryder froze, his eyes widening, his chest tightening at the human tone. The Seraphim used cave life to test creativity, forcing them to live by sap and heat. He wrote quickly, his hands shaky, human voice, vines plus fuel, screech plus stone roll, new trial. He turned to the group, his voice firm, deep cave pushes us, use vines, burn fluid, be ready to fight. Rest, then go. Lena grabbed a vine segment, wrapping it around her hand to warm, her eyes flashing with resolve, tossing more insects into the fire, fluid sizzled, heat spreading. Warm vines, enough to rest, she said, her voice low, inhaling sap sweetness, her gaze fierce despite fatigue, ready to press on. Torin sat Mira near the vines, his voice trembling, sap of life, real? Mira looked up, her weary eyes sharp, picking glowing mushrooms and an orange insect, testing the burn. Fire flared, cooked mushroom scent wafting. This fluid, burned strong, she whispered, her voice faint but steadfast, sharing mushrooms with the group. Kalia caught 3 more insects, squeezing fluid onto a twig, igniting it, light surged, illuminating the cave clearer. Screech, near, she said, her voice soft, gripping her mace, her gaze on the dark, poised for the monster. Ryder wrapped vines around his arm, burned insect fluid, mushroom glow and fire lighting the cave. The metallic screech mixed with rolling stone, a shadow loomed, slow but heavy. Prepare, he said, his voice low, the group closing ranks, sap of life in the deep their strength against dead land. Chap 67, living fire and darkness. Ryder stood in the cold stone cave beneath the gas forge, his right hand gripping the new spear, his eyes locked on the towering shadow deep in the cave, nearly 8 meters tall, serpentine, clad in glossy stone scales and rusted metal, red eyes blazing through the faint green glow of mushrooms on the walls. The fire from orange insect fluid in Chap 66 burned strong on the stone floor, golden-orange light blending with mushrooms, illuminating the monster. It hissed, a sharp metallic screech echoing as claws scraped stone, shaking more debris from the ceiling, trembling the cave. The air was damp and heavy, carrying the sweet scent of warm vine sap wrapped around their arms, a sour hint from insect fuel, and a new earthy smell, from small, deep purple flowers growing low near the stone floor, wafting a scent like rain-soaked soil, distinct from prior mushrooms or vines. The heat-giving vines still warmed, clinging thicker to the walls, a living network in dead land, while a few orange insects crawled slowly, leaking shimmering fluid when threatened. Lena stood beside him, her left hand tightening the vine around her shoulder for warmth, her sharp eyes aiming at the monster's head, where scales thinned, her right hand gripping her old crude spear, her breaths tense. Torin knelt near the wall, supporting Mira, the young girl striking 2 metal bits. Sparks flew, igniting more insect fluid, fire flaring, her weary eyes resolute. Kalia stood to Ryder's right, her heavy mace raised, her gaze fixed on the monster's body, long, coiling, with gaps between scales, her hand tightening on the haft, ready to swing. The cave under Archive was a biological arena, fire from insects, mushroom light, warm vines, and purple flowers their weapons against the Seraphim's new beast. He pulled the Seraphim device from his bag, its red light blinking fast, the small screen showing a curt message: Archive, Ryder, living fire is data. Defeat darkness with life, or be swallowed by it, the trial doesn't stop. The words echoed in his mind, cold and clear, confirming the serpentine stone metal monster was the next test, demanding they use cave life to win. He opened his notebook, its pages damp, his fingers brushing the rough surface as he wrote slowly, Day 52 North, below Gas Forge. Archive Phase 4, Snake Monster, Insect Fire plus Vines to Fight? He paused, his dark brown eyes narrowing through golden smoke, analyzing the monster, longer than before, hard scales with gaps, faster, red eyes light-sensitive. Living fire is data, he muttered, his low, hoarse voice blending with the hiss, they want us to break it with life. He inhaled the damp air deeply, analyzing, insect fluid burned strong, vines could bind, mushrooms exposed, purple flowers might irritate if tested. Lena turned to him, her left hand tossing an orange insect into the fire, fluid flared, golden smoke thickening, her eyes flashing with resolve. You see it? She asked, her voice rough, crouching, her spear aimed at the monster's head through smoke. It's fast, scales thin at the head, can we stab it? She took a smoky breath, frowning as sourness stung her nose, her gaze locked on the red eyes, her hand gripping her spear, poised to charge. Ryder nodded, standing tall, his right hand gripping the new spear, his eyes sweeping the monster. It slithered forward, but golden smoke made it hesitate, red eyes blinking fast, irritated. Smoke slows it, he said, his voice low but certain, analyzing fast. The wider cave with a low ceiling limited its height, mushroom light revealed scale gaps, insect fire could burn if aimed right. Target head and scale gaps, use vines to bind. He scribbled fast in his notebook, Monster 8M, fast, smoke irritates, fire plus vines to bind? He turned to the group, his voice clear, coordinate, smoke slows, fire burns head, vines bind body. Mira, keep fire, Kalia, body, Lena, head, I'll hit eyes. Torin pressed Mira against the wall, his cloudy eyes flickering with fear as the monster hissed again, stone falling harder from above. "It's so fast, can we hold?" he asked, his voice shaky, his hand tight on Mira's shoulder. Mira took a smoky breath, striking her metal bits hard. Sparks flew, igniting more insect fluid, golden smoke rising, lighting the monster clearer with mushroom glow. "Smoke, it's pausing," she whispered, her voice faint but keen, her eyes brightening as it slowed, picking a purple flower, squeezing, sharp, wet earth scent rose. This flower might blind it. Kalia lunged, her heavy mace raised, her eyes locked on the monster's body, gaps showed as it coiled. "Body first," she said, her voice soft but sharp, yanking a vine from the wall, wrapping it around her mace, swinging hard into a scale gap, stone cracked, the vine tightened, the monster hissed loudly, body thrashing but slowing, claws swiping off target through smoke. She dodged back, taking a smoky breath, her eyes tense but focused. Ryder leapt in, his right hand grabbing an orange insect, squeezing fluid onto his spear tip, igniting it, golden fire flared, he hurled it at the monster's left eye, flame caught, burning strong on scales, golden smoke rising from it, it shrieked, head whipping back, claws slashing fast but aimless in smoke. He retreated, spear aimed, shouting, "Head, Lena, now." He analyzed, smoke confused it, fire at the eye opened a shot, vines binding slowed its body. Lena charged, her old crude spear thrusting at the monster's head through smoke, the tip pierced thin scales, black blood spurting as it shrieked, body writhing, claws sweeping again, but she dodged, retreating, her left hand clutching her aching shoulder, her eyes blazing. "Hit it," she hissed through gritted teeth, her voice rough, standing firm despite smoke. Mira sparked faster, squeezing more orange insects, golden smoke surged, the monster retreating, red eyes blinking rapidly, heavily irritated. "Smoke, it can't see," she whispered, her voice faint but steadfast, tossing purple flowers into the fire, sharp earth scent rose, the monster shrieking harder, head dipping. "Flowers, weaken it." Kalia seized the chance, lunging again, vine-wrapped mace smashing a mid-body scale gap, a louder crack echoed, the monster convulsed, vines tightening, body slowing fully, hissing weakening. "Body again," she shouted softly, retreating, her gaze on its now still claws. Ryder leapt in, his new spear stabbing deep into the right eye, the tip plunged through, insect fire flaring, black blood gushing as it thrashed, then stilled, red eyes dimming in golden smoke and mushroom glow. He stood frozen, breathing hard, his gaze sweeping the group, all safe, but drained. "Done," he said, his voice low, scribbling fast in his notebook, "Monster down, smoke plus fire hit eyes/head, vines bound, trial passed." The Seraphim device buzzed hard, its red light flashing fast, and the cold, deep voice crackled through, "Ryder, living fire is winning data. Life breaks darkness, the next trial lies deeper." The voice cut off, but Rolling Stone echoed again from afar, clearer, like a new threat. Ryder frowned, his chest tightening at the human tone. The Seraphim used biology to test creativity, and they weren't done. He turned to the group, his voice taut, "They want deeper, rest, keep fire, stay ready." Lena dropped to one knee, hand on her shoulder, her eyes flashing with fatigue but defiance. "Living fire, one," she echoed, her voice low, wrapping more vine around her arm, her gaze piercing the dark ahead. Torin held Mira, his voice trembling, "Deeper still?" Mira looked up, her weary eyes sharp, picking glowing mushrooms and purple flowers, lighting them up. "Fire and flowers, we did it," she whispered, her voice faint but determined. Kalia stood by the monster's corpse, her heavy mace lowered, her gaze on the dark. "Stone rolling, again," she said, her voice soft, gathering more orange insects, ready to burn when needed. Ryder eyed the living fire and mushroom glow, then the group. They'd won with biology and strength, but dead land kept testing. "Deeper," he said, his voice low, leading them through smoke, the cold stone cave awaiting. Chap 68, Breath of Deep Earth. Ryder knelt in the cold stone cave beneath the gas forge, his right hand setting the new spear on the jagged stone floor, his eyes sweeping the colossal snake monster's corpse from Chap 67, 8 meters long, glossy stone scales and metal now still, black blood pooled on rock, red eyes extinguished. The fire from orange insect fluid flickered weakly, golden orange light blending with green mushroom glow on the walls, illuminating the cave. Thin golden smoke faded, leaving sweet vine sap sent from their wrapped arms, a sour hint from fuel, and wet earth from purple flowers near the floor. The air was damp and heavy, but now carried a strange sound, a soft, steady hiss, like slow breathing, emanating from a stone crack deep in the cave, where vines thickened, interwoven with a new plant, small, silver-gray twigs, twisted, growing from cracks, their tips leaking cloudy dew, icy to the touch, unlike the warm vines. A few orange insects crawled nearby, but a new creature appeared, small, opaque white spiders, soft-bodied, weaving thin webs between vines, the webs glinting faintly in mushroom light like silver threads. Stone shards fell lightly from the ceiling, distant rolling echoed clearer post-battle, like the deep cave of the gas forge expanding. Lena sat beside him, her left hand tightening the vine around her shoulder, her weary but sharp eyes watching, her right hand resting her old crude spear, breathing slowly. Torin sat by the wall, supporting Mira, the young girl inhaling deeply, her pale face showing curiosity at the silver twigs, her hand holding a glowing mushroom to light more. Kalia knelt near the corpse, her heavy mace set down, her gaze fixed on a white spider, her left hand picking a dewdrop from a twig, testing its chill. The cave beneath the gas forge was a vibrant ecosystem, glowing mushrooms, warm vines, purple flowers, silver twigs, and white spiders offering new survival chances, if harnessed right. He pulled the Seraphim device from his bag, its red light blinking steadily, the small screen showing a curt message, "Archive, Ryder, Breath of Earth is data. Live from the pulse of stone, or die in silence, the trial demands adaptation." The words echoed in his mind, cold and clear, suggesting this deep cave, with its breathing hiss and new life, was a fresh test, forcing them to use the ecosystem to persist. He opened his notebook, its pages damp, his fingers brushing the rough surface as he wrote slowly, Day 53 North, below Gas Forge. Archive Phase 4, Deep Cave, silver twigs, spiders, breathing. He paused, his dark brown eyes narrowing in the green glow, listening to the steady hiss, like air cycling through stone, mixed with rolling stone and faint spider movement. "Breath of Earth is data," he muttered, his low, hoarse voice blending with the hiss. "They want us to live from this rhythm." He inhaled the damp air deeply, analyzing, vines warmed, insect fluid fueled fire, silver twigs cooled, white spiders offered threads, purple flowers held irritating scent, a complex ecosystem in the gas forge's dead land. Lena turned to him, her left hand touching a silver twig on the wall, icy, cloudy dew sticking to her fingers, a faint earthy scent rising. "You hear that?" she asked, her voice rough, standing slowly, her spear aimed at the crack where the hiss came from. "This sound, like breathing. Cold twigs, usable? And those spiders too." She took a damp breath, frowning as the twig's earthiness drifted by, her gaze sweeping the white spiders and their thin webs, seeking more life to exploit. Ryder nodded, crouching by the silver twigs, his right hand setting the spear down, his left picking a small one, cold, rigid, cloudy dew dripping when snapped, odorless but chilling like ice water. "Silver twigs, cool, store water," he said, his voice low but certain, grabbing a white spider from its web, small, soft, the web thin but tough, usable for binding. "Spiders, web threads, to tie or trap." He took a twig from the floor, dipped it in orange insect fluid, struck 2 metal bits, golden fire flared, he held a silver twig near, dew melted slowly, releasing cool vapor in the warm air. Breath of earth, warmth and cooling. He scribbled fast in his notebook, silver twigs cool, spider webs, breathing, water plus threads. He turned to the group, his voice clear, deep cave gives us, vines for warmth, silver twigs to cool, spiders to bind, insects for fire. Rest, but hear the hiss. Torin sat Mira down, his cloudy eyes flickering with surprise as he felt coolness from a nearby silver twig. "These twigs, really cold?" he asked, his voice slow, his arm tight around Mira, as if wanting her to analyze more. Mira took a deep breath, the damp air sharpening her eyes brightening as she touched a twig, freezing, dew sticking to her fingers. "Twigs, like ice water," she whispered, her voice faint but keen, picking a white spider, tugging its web, tough, thin, glinting in mushroom light. "This web can bind, or trap insects." Kalia stood, her heavy mace aside, her gaze sweeping the walls. Vines thickened, silver twigs grew sparsely, white spiders wove webs between cracks. "Spiders, more than insects," she said, her voice soft but sharp, crouching to pull a web piece, holding it, thin but strong, slightly sticky. "Cold twigs, good for cooling." She frowned, turning to Ryder, her eyes curious but trusting, gathering more twigs and webs, ready to test. Ryder nodded, taking Kalia's twigs, placing them near his vine-wrapped arm, warmth and coolness balanced, then pulling a spider web, wrapping it around a twig, squeezing insect fluid on, igniting, golden fire burned strong, the web holding it longer without burning. "Spider webs, boost fire," he said, his voice low, analyzing fast, vines warmed, silver twigs cooled, web sustained fire, purple flowers could trap scent, enough to rest and prepare. "Mushrooms light, twigs cool, webs burn, live from this." He wrote slowly in his notebook, "Vine heat, silver twig cool, webs plus fire, flower trap, deep cave survival." He turned to the group, his voice taut, "Breath of earth is life, use twigs to cool, burn webs, be ready to move." Hiss is closer. The Seraphim device buzzed hard, its red light flashing faster, and the cold, deep voice crackled through, "Ryder, breath of earth is new data. Life's pulse is survival, silence is death, the trial doesn't stop." The voice cut off, but the hiss from the stone crack sharpened, joined by louder rolling stone, like something moving through the gas forge's deep cave. Ryder froze, his eyes widening, his chest tightening at the human tone. The Seraphim used this ecosystem to test adaptation, forcing them to live by dead land's rhythm. He wrote quickly, his hands shaky, human voice, "Silver twigs plus webs, hiss plus stone roll, new trial." He turned to the group, his voice firm, "Deep cave tests us, use twigs, burn webs, be ready to fight. Rest, then go." Lena grabbed a silver twig, placing it near her vine-wrapped shoulder, cool and warm mixed, her eyes flashing with resolve, tossing an orange insect into the fire, fluid sizzled, heat spreading. "Cool twigs, enough to rest," she said, her voice low, inhaling purple flower earthiness, her gaze fierce despite fatigue, ready to press on. Torin sat Mira near the twigs, his voice trembling, "Breath of earth, what's that?" Mira looked up, her weary eyes sharp, picking glowing mushrooms and a white spider, pulling web, fire from insects flared brighter. "Webs, hold fire," she whispered, her voice faint but steadfast, sharing twigs with the group. Kalia pulled a spider web, wrapping it around her mace, squeezing insect fluid, igniting, light surged, illuminating the cave clearer. "Hiss, near," she said, her voice soft, gripping her mace, her gaze on the crack, poised for the monster. Ryder wrapped vines around his arm, placed a silver twig near his chest, burned webbing with fluid, mushroom glow and fire lit the cave, the hiss blending with rolling stone, a shadow loomed, slow but heavy. "Prepare," he said, his voice low, the group closing ranks, breath of deep earth their strength against the gas forge.